Hey, this is Phil Yanov with the Tech After 5 podcast, and we have something special coming up, and I thought we would talk to you guys about it before we get to it. You know, we've been at Tech After 5 over 12 years, and coming up in our November is our 600th event. Yeah, I know. Here's the thing: we've done a bunch of these hundreds, right? I think we started back at 300, and we decided let's make the 100 events, the centenary events, right, big ones, and do something fun. So we got something new planned for 600, but I brought my friends in to maybe give me some ideas about what that might look like. So first off, I've got Carol Hamilton. Hello,
Hi.
Carol Hamilton.
Hello,
How are you?
Phil Yanov. I am so glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad to have you. And you seem like a perfect person to help me plan a party.
I've been to a few.
Yeah, right. I've been to a few. I've done a lampshade or two. Yeah. And then, of course, my buddy Scott Pfeiffer is here. Hello, Scott.
Hey, Phil. It's always great to be here, buddy.
Yeah. We've been to a bunch of Tech After Fives together, and now we got 600 coming up. So let's talk about that a little bit and see what we might come up with. So 600 events, I think would ought to be a party. What do you think, Scott?
I think a party sounds like a good idea. We should invite everybody.
Yeah. Well, I think that is the very first thing we should let people know. That's exactly what we're going to do. So in years past, because the events were physical and they're in different cities, we would just call them all 600 and we would have 5 parties. But this year, we can have one party and invite everybody to it all at the same time.
I actually think that really adds a whole nother level to it, doesn't it? Because it would be much harder to get everybody in the same room. So I think that there's a whole element that we just get to celebrate unto itself, which is we're all here. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that is neat. And I mean, I think the thing is, we have such a great group of folks in Little Rock and great folks in Charlotte and Columbia and Charleston, but they don't, some folks will jump from place to place. But this time I'm giving them a good reason. Just let's all come to one room at one time. So that's what I want to do. That's what I want to get pulled together. So I think we got to, the thing is, we can't, we can't actually, we're not going to be handing out beers because you're in your own home and people are spread out all over the country. So I think we're going to have to rely on people to do this thing BYOB.
Yep. I would start there. And in fact, I think Scott had some great suggestions for how to do that at home. Scott, didn't you have a couple ideas?
We can always have wine delivered or pick up beer at the grocery store.
There you go.
Right.
That's right.
There you go.
Beer would be the traditional drink of the Tech After Fives, although you do often serve wine at those places.
We make that available to folks who just aren't beer drinkers. I always had in my mind it was kind of a beer-ish event. And I thought, with craft beer doing its thing, there usually was a wide enough selection for everybody to do their thing. So, but I think you should bring a beer and you should probably share with us what beer you brought to celebrate. I think that would be super fun. What do you, I don't know, celebratory drinks? Do you have a favorite beer, wine, or some other cocktail that's a go-to for you when you celebrate? I mean, I think everybody ought to figure that out for themselves, but maybe you guys have one.
I'm not a huge champagne drinker, but especially since I'm probably going to be home and on my own, I wouldn't need a whole bottle, but I love the feeling of a split of champagne. I just think that there's something so elegant about that. And there was a movie, Moonshine or something, Moonstruck, years ago, where they actually dropped a little cube of sugar in it. And I always thought, now that is a party, a little bit of just a small glass of champagne with a block of sugar in it. It just seems like, I don't know, extra special.
There's a champagne cocktail you can make that starts with a cube of sugar and has brandy and champagne. Is there something else in that, Phil? It's brandy and champagne and a sugar cube, and I want to think there's one other ingredient.
I don't know. It's funny that you should bring that up because when I think of cocktails, so to speak, or champagne mixed drinks. I guess it wouldn't really be a cocktail, but a champagne mixed drink. It's Bellini's, right? And that's one that I made I started making for my wife long ago. And that is is champagne and peach puree, white peach puree in a champagne. Oh my gosh, so delicious. And for us, it's a summer thing.
There's mixed beer drinks that you can get at fancier beer bars. There's the black and tan, which has the Guinness on the bottom and the Harp or the Bass on the top. And there's different ones, but I think there's one, I think it's called a Velvet Hammer or something like that. That's got like Guinness and champagne.
Oh, well, that sounds pretty exciting. Is there something we should come up with?
Pour the champagne on top and it sits sort of separate.
Right.
You can also do that with like Guinness and apple cider.
Oh. Ooh,
which is nice. It seems like that would kind of lighten up Guinness a bit, because that could be a pretty
Guinness and apple cider. Not. I'm talking about hard. I'm talking about like
like Scrumpy Jack or something like that. A hard cider,
Jack, right? A hard cider, but you mix that Guinness and that hard cider together. It's really good.
Yeah. So I did not come into this with an idea of what the official drinks of Tech After 5 number 600 is. And we can ask the audience this, we got a little time to plan this yet, but I think we should come up with something like that. And maybe we could do a beer and a wine and then the cocktail that you will have or serve at home for
the official cocktail of Tech After 5. Now there's an interesting concept.
You can never go wrong with the Negroni, of course.
Well, that's Phil's fan favorite, but I understand that is quite a drink that's not ready for everybody. I mean, not everybody is ready for a Negroni, but I'm all about it, So I could easily declare that as the cocktail, but we might have to go a little lighter on some of the other stuff.
Now, I am thinking if we're talking cocktails, we should also be talking about food. And we have an upside to being home. You can eat something like nachos and not be shaking someone's hand 5 seconds later. So I think there's some real upside here to being home. You don't have to drive home after the cocktail, and you get to eat something that is an absolute wreck and not worry about having greasy hands.
Yeah,
I like
think
that.
We want to discourage too much eating on camera, though.
True. Perhaps something less crunchy than nachos would be effective.
On mute, but still.
Yeah.
Why do I want to watch you eat? Not much.
I was in a meeting this morning where someone was dining because it was overseas. And that's a lot of information.
Yeah. That could be bad. So we need some discretion there. Maybe, maybe
thought.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's always chicken fingers, right? No, it would be olives. No, I think you're right. The eating on the camera thing, that's a tough one to kind of pull off. But that's why I always like if I am going to take a drink or eat or something like that in your pile of people, I flip the camera off momentarily and then back, and I push it back and forth. So I don't have this set up today to do that really quick, but back, black and then back. But I think. There might be some finger food wherever you're doing your.
It's like bar peanuts, pretzels, the kind of thing you'd have at a regular at a Tech After 5.
I like at Chop House 47, they serve bar peanuts, but they're warmed up. They're hot.
Yes.
Oh man, that's some good stuff right there.
The best part about flying first class is the heated mixed nuts at the beginning. Yeah. It's just this lovely little ramekin, so it's not some monster. Oh, and they're warm. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, the heated nuts, that's a good move. Class act.
Wow. Right. Yeah, that is first class. So, all right. So we're putting together our menu here. We're going to, the Negroni has to be in here somewhere. So there'll be, that's the official over the top cocktail for Tech After 5 number 600. And then
you've been friends with Phil for as long as I've had, you have had a Negroni with him.
Yeah, that's right. It's just one of those things that happens. Then there's got to be a beer, and maybe there's like a craft beer, and then there's also the everyman beer, so to speak, right?
Maybe the craft beer. Maybe we should have one for every city.
Oh,
yes,
I like that.
I would say local. It should be local to multiple cities that you're in. I love that idea, and let them come on and and toast with that. Each city toasts.
Greenville has a lot of options for local craft beer.
Exactly. Brilliant ideas.
Sure. Yeah. So does Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know
So does Charleston.
Columbia as much, whether they have a big craft beer scene down there, but maybe somebody from Columbia can let us know.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
Right.
it be fun if they delivered one bottle to each person who signed up?
Would.
Little. What about and Little
Local.
Rock, Arkansas is big enough. They must have some beer down there. That's
We'll have to ask our friends in Little Rock what their
yeah.
local craft beer.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out there and ask them about that. All right. So we've got drinks that we kind of get that a little bit lined up. We've got, maybe you'll have some sort of snack, but, nothing big. Again, we don't want to see you eat a au jus during the event, right? It's just not a roast beef and au jus, right? That's not
Now, how about
cool.
dress code? Is there like a hat or could they go online and print out the logo and put it on a T-shirt or a hat, or what could they do to represent?
Yeah. So, the thing is, are they so they could be representing their local city? The thing is, there have been over time a few T-shirts around with the city's logo on it, right? So it'd be Tech After 5 Columbia, Tech After 5 Charlotte. Those do exist somewhere, but they're probably few and far between. Now, some folks will have tokens, by the way, things that they could use, that they could kind of show those as part of it. But yeah, we don't really want a ball cap, but maybe we could. I don't know.
Could we put a badge of some kind online that people could pull up and print themselves at home and wear?
That's what I'm thinking. Something that you could even print onto like an iron-on or something if they wanted. That would be one option.
Onto a sticker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Put on their shirt. Something.
Yeah.
Something. Some asset we could put online that you could pull down and do whatever you want with. A Tech After 5 600.
Happy hours.
All the cities. Whatever.
Yeah, I like that.
Something people could do if they wanted to. Here's something I would like, and this is a little bit of work on your part, and I'm not sure you have the assets to make it happen. This is what I would like to see. I would like to see a slideshow in chronological order of every location every Tech After 5 has been. So it would start with, I guess, Greenville. The first one in Greenville, was it upstairs above Barley's Tap Room? Was that our first location? Or
Yeah, we don't have pictures from the first event, but we have pictures from the second event.
I'm just talking about one from each location. It doesn't have to be the first time in that location. But it could be
I see.
Barley, Tech After 5 Greenville, Barley's Tap Room, and maybe the year. And then what was the second location? What was the third location? Then at some point, we're going to have other cities coming in with their locations. And Greenville's been in half a dozen places. Some of the other ones have been in 2 or 3. But just chronologically, so it might be Greenville, Columbia, Greenville, Charleston, Greenville. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just one shot from each location, from every Tech After 5 that's ever been at whatever locations, in chronological order with a little thing and just a little slideshow, a little 5-minute, wouldn't even be 5 minutes, probably be 2-minute slideshow.
What if you went to the people who have attended these or hosted them and helped you host and see what other pictures there are of just people having fun? And if, put those in there with it. So you've got this as a location, but then here's a couple of shots you may not have even seen. Let's have people submit what they've taken pictures of.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see pictures from other people, right? I mean, we have thousands of photos, and I'll bring in professional photographers to record the event as well, right? So we have thousands of photos, but it would be really kind of fun to see some that I hadn't seen, right? But there'll be a lot of photos that other folks haven't seen as well, and we could run that for a while, let people see that. I'll figure out a way to do that. But I think a slideshow certainly is in order, and I would love to go back and tell a few stories about some of the events that we've been at and some of the crazy things we've had happen at our events.
Yeah, that'd be good. Some retrospective.
As I'm sitting here looking at all of our backgrounds, I was thinking if you didn't do the badge or something that people wore, you could still put together like a 600 logo, if you will, that they could print and put into their backgrounds. So something where it just captures part of the spirit of it. Because I was trying to think about balloons or crepe paper or, something festive. It's a party. So what could you do with that? Well, something to dress up the background a little, maybe.
I mean, virtual backgrounds for everybody.
There you go.
Free.
There you go. Except, there goes your bandwidth. But yeah, there you go. That would be really fun. Your own little Tech After 5 backdrop.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So I think we could have some fun with that. The thing is, I wasn't sure this was going to work at the beginning. Back when we started Tech After 5, we were doing other things at the time. We were doing the lunch series still. And it wasn't clear to me that Tech After 5 was going to go work. The first few months seemed really hard. But then it just kind of picked up and it had a life of its own. And within, I would say within 6 months, it definitely had a life of its own.
I don't know that we ever thought at the time that it would be the thing that took over everything else.
I certainly did not.
Right.
It was supposed to be just sort of another event that GSATC was doing.
That's right. And the thing is, even in that, I said we don't have pictures from the first one. We have pictures from the second one. At the second one, the badges don't say Tech After 5. They say GSATC. Right. And we did that for months.
Yeah. Well, Tech After 5 was just a GSATC event, one of many, right? At least
that's right.
And the learning lunch was kind of the big.
Yeah.
Big thing.
That was the tent pole.
You know what I remember
changed.
though, going from the learnings, because I went to those lunches and then I went to the Tech After 5. What I remember about the Tech After 5 was how safe it felt to network. And I don't know why. I'm sitting here trying to think of what the difference is, but there weren't all sorts of gimmicks and you didn't have to do icebreakers and everybody introduce yourselves in some humiliating and extroverted way. You got to just go have a drink and meet people one-on-one quietly, relatively easily. And I think that word got out and that's what made it explode because you weren't doing all that other stuff.
But I loved my favorite thing in the whole world was learning lunch, where it was, if you're a first time, raise your hand and then stand up.
That's right. And then it got worse. Raise your hand. And then,
and it's like, I have just volunteered.
All these people raising their hand. And he's like, and then stand up. And some of them, you see their eyes just go, bing.
Yeah.
They're dead now.
Yes.
That's right.
Trapped.
That's right. One little thing leads to another. That step seemed completely reasonable, and poof! Now,
that's right.
I had you.
The punishment for courage.
My favorite.
So, so that's funny. You went all that way and did never use the word speed dating. I think that's a new element we need to add is the speed networking thing there, Carol, so that we can get that back to where it's a high pressure, tension filled networking environment.
All right. Well, you do that.
All right. Yeah, I don't know that.
But what I did love, and I remember this being very, I don't remember anybody else doing this, was when you sent out the participant list and said, look who's coming, figure out a couple of people to target that you would like to seek out and have a conversation with. And I thought that again really served the introverted part of me that let me say, okay, now this is brought down into a size I can take. This is a nibble size event. I don't have to stay all night. I don't have to meet the room. I get to just go in and meet these people. And I thought you really walked people through that process really nicely.
You could add some of those milestones to the slideshow too. Like in this year, we started sending out the list in advance. And in this year, we started doing LinkedIn Anywhere. And in this year, we started doing the different things on the badge with the who's seeking a job and who's looking to hire and all that,
The badge thing was something we did from the very beginning. In fact, I refused to do the event until I came up with the idea that we would on the badge say, what are you looking for? Right. That was the thing. Yeah, I wouldn't run the event because I thought this is just meaningless. I don't understand. I mean, I don't want to go wander through a room and hope something happens. We never wanted to run that kind of event, right? It just wasn't it. So to Carol's point, I was trying to take all of the friction out of professional networking, right? And I didn't want it to suck. I wanted this, I've always been perfectionist about how we do what we do. How do I make this easier for you? How do I make it look better? How do I make this friendly and open and make sure that, everyone's behaving themselves? And so when we locked that all down, we just kind of pulled forward and that worked and people got it. To Carol's point, I think the audience detected it right away.
What would be fun is if you had a way to do that now where we could have a badge that says, I'm looking for a job, I'm hiring, even in the party. Right. I mean, it's still a Tech After 5 event. And so what if there was a way to identify ourselves just from looking at each other, or I don't know, in our names or...
Well, that's super easy. And what the thing is, I haven't focused on that so much at the events, but the easiest way to do that, of course, is in the rename function. And if you go into the rename function, just say what you're looking for, right? You could go ahead and put that right afterwards. So I think that would work. I don't want to do all the clatter here on the keyboard right now, but you could just rename that. And I have thought about doing that for some. In fact, we have done other things than that, and we have done that as well. But I think that's probably a thing we could do more often, and that people would find it awesome, right? But now, if people are looking, particularly people who are looking for a job, they will say looking for developer gig, looking for something like that. But I think the looking for bit is good.
Yeah. Well, it keeps the spirit of it alive. So whether you're looking for something new, to replace something, or whatever it is you're trying to do, it's just that extra easy. I don't have to say it. You already know it.
Right. That's right. Because we're trying to help people with that. I've been looking for ways to kind of automate some of those pieces and make that even more forward, right? Wouldn't it be really cool, for example? Well, I mean, here's a way you could do it if for the folks who wanted to play that game, right? Why would I not create a virtual background that was color coded based on what you wanted to find, right? Yeah. If I'm looking for a gig, I got a blue background or green background. And
if it ends up being a bandwidth issue, even just the people who are hiring could use one, right?
There's no bandwidth issue on that. That's exactly the same as putting this in.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. But
Yeah, so we could give you a colored background if you wanted to do that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Looking for work or I'm hiring. People find each other in the room kind of easier that way to the extent they can do something with it. All right, so we got, we're going to be a little bit sentimental about some of the things that we've done, but we are a forward-looking organization, and we love this idea of sort of bringing together, let's celebrate what we've done so far. We'll be able to talk to you about the thousands of people served, the tens of thousands on the mailing list at this point, and, put a few hundred people in a room even if we want to now, and let them chat with each other and go do that thing we do like we do inside the breakout rooms, right? How do we go and let you meet each other? I did something, by the way, kind of fun at the last one. I haven't done this before because we've been handling the openings in a bunch of different ways. But one of the things I did at Tech After 5 for Greenville just this week was, I guess this was last night. When I say this week, it was last night. But I actually took everybody who showed up early and tossed them all into a breakout room together for the time that they were early until it was time for the event to start. And they milled around and chatted. And they took the people who were in the room, and I think there were 6 or 8, they just said this was perfect. It was like standing in line, waiting to get your badge, but now you had somebody to talk to while you were doing that. And then I popped them out right before we began the official intro of the event.
Nice. What else I think would be cool is to hear your vision. So now it's been 750 or whatever the next big, marker would be in your mind, whether it's 1,000. Is there anything that's different? I mean, and I don't know. I'm not trying to put you on the spot here. I'm just thinking it'd be really interesting to hear what you see of this. Is this going to, do you feel really good about right where it is? Is there something you'd like to evolve it? Is there, and also how could people who are there be a part of that evolution? Is there support or anything they could bring that would help you get there?
Yeah, I would love to share some of those pieces, right? Because I think we're in a spot we didn't expect to be in, right? We never thought we were going to be in this spot doing a bunch of virtual events, but here we are having done a pile of them, right, since March. But we also know, we want to be good at this. We want to do all the service we can for this moment in time. And then we want to, when it comes out that we'll be able to do live events again, those are going to look a little different probably when we do it. But I am very much in this moment committed to making sure that we have an online event that endures past, if we had a vaccine and there is an online version of what we were doing, because it is just too easy to bring people from very disparate geographies together. We've spent all this time, again, Zoom training them, et cetera. We're going to keep doing bigger and better things in the online space as well. I'd like to chat about that a little bit because I think that's where we're headed.
Well, and with so many people getting told they're going to be home for a long time, if not forever, based on carbon footprints, cost, and just the COVID, of course, which we don't know where it's going next. So, yeah, I think those are going to be really interesting conversations.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that and maybe get a few ideas from the audience. So all of this to talk about number 600 coming up. We're going to have some fun with it. We want you to think about it. We're going to drop this podcast just as quick as you can. So here's the point. We've still got a few weeks till this event. You can be part of the party planning committee if you would like to be part of this with us and kind of tell us what you think you would like to see in event 600. The date is date certain, right? That's November 18th at 5:30 p.m. You are invited to Tech After 5 number 600. And I hope that you'll come join and celebrate. It'll be BYOB, but that's okay. You'll be in your own home, or I hope, and able to come and celebrate with us. So,
musical guest would be fun too.
Say that again?
Musical guest would be fun.
I'm going to pull that ukulele off the shelf back there.
We got Ed McCain, right? Sitting home in Greenville.
Yeah.
Let's just see what he's got going on.
Yeah. It's funny. I have some ideas about having a special speaker, but I hadn't thought about a musical guest. Yes, I got to figure that out. I mean, there's the issue of, I can make this work.
There's some talent in this group you have. I'm guessing there's some talent right in this little pool of people. Not so little pool of people.
Oh, yeah. No. There are quite a few people who have bands that play and perform regularly still in our crowd. So we could actually do that. So that'd be super fun. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Carol Hamilton, for your help today. And we go find you at...
You can find me on LinkedIn at Carol Hamilton Live, or you can find me on my website, which is hamiltonthinktank.com.
Excellent. And Scott Pfeiffer.
Scott Pfeiffer on LinkedIn, strategybusinessconsulting@gmail.com on email, and my website is fscottp.com.
All right. I am Phil Yanov, your host for this silly little thing we call the Tech After 5 podcast. And we're just trying to help you. The best way we can help you is to have you come show up at our events. The best way you can help us is to tell your friends about this podcast, whether it's the YouTube channel, make sure you go subscribe and tell your pals about it, or pull the podcast on whatever your favorite pod player is, and let both like it and kind of tell other people about it so that we spread the word, because we're trying to help as many people as we can. And we're assuming that if you like us, you've got friends like you, and we'd like to help them as well. So find us at techafter5.com, and we'll see you at the very next event. Thanks.